suddenly really focus on a completely different type of a brand. That's what affinities will help you discover, okay? But when we are starting with affinities, what we are always suggesting is you go with, firstly, your own brand and your brand's affinities. Then what you should do is look at competitors and competitive brands, okay? But when we mention this, both of us are still remaining in the category. But when we start analyzing and understanding people's behavior, which means we start looking at how people behave, you may suddenly go and say, look, people deeply interested in technology forums are the kind of people we need to be talking to, for example. Or people deeply engage with travel to certain technology destinations, Hamburg, Munich. I don't know, I'm just saying this. So this is what affinities helps you do, right? It's those behaviors. Because at the end of the day, if you think of all of us and our Facebook presence, I don't go onto Facebook and say, hey, I'm a tech geek. It doesn't say that on my Facebook profile, but maybe I behave like that. Maybe I go and listen to TED Talks every day for 15 minutes. Maybe every time I see a Google Cloud ad, I click on it to see what's going on. Maybe I listen to a certain type of music, right? Now, this is my behavior. And that is the behavior our machine learning algorithms are patterning and making available through this concept of affinity. Okay, it's the underlying behavior of people and the brands they consume. Therefore, if I'm looking at people deeply engaged with Google, I can see what else they are engaged with. And therefore, firstly, I'm trying to get you people that are more deeply involved with your brand. And the second thing is we are helping you because in a Facebook environment, it shows up as other brand interests. But really what we are doing is we are targeting people behind that brand interest, right?
Okay.
And by doing this,
Yes, go ahead.
And by doing this, and there are many other parameters that our 4C algorithms have embedded in them. It is stage of life, it is sentiment towards a brand, it is my salience of what I'm saying in the conversation. Now, for example, if I'm on a Google brand page and I'm talking about some rubbish, 4C is going to knock me out, right? It's going to, when we normalize and clean up the data, it's going to say, exclude this guy because he's a joker. He's just wasting his time, right? So there's a lot of this process all happening in the background, and that gets exposed in this view called 4C affinity. Okay? And the beauty with affinity is that it's instantly available. So you simply type the brand and you get the affinity. Or even if a brand page that you want to track is not available on 4C, you can send it to us and we'll automatically upload it for you, and affinities get computed within 8 hours. And as you get really comfortable with the platform, we'll show you how to do it yourself. Right? But initially, anytime there's a request, we want to track it simply so that we know, hey, we need to do more in that area, less in that area, etc. So that's the concept of affinities.
How often, when let's say you want to check the LG global page and you want to see the affinities of that page for a campaign, how often do you update the data? So for example, today, if we log in, we'll see something, but maybe in 2 months' time, the actual 4C affinities will be different, right? Because people change and the people who are interested in this page also behave differently. There's also seasonality. So how often does it update? And if we choose, so that's one question. And if we choose the 4C affinities, will it update automatically or do we have to manually just input it?
Okay. So both very good questions, Kim. Thank you. If I had the best question of the day award, it's going to go to you for sure. But thanks. That's a good question. And I think it picks on really what I was saying. So we have discovered through these years that there is a shift in affinities. Roughly in about 90 days, we see enough of a shift in affinities to make it available for targeting. Okay. Now, in the 4C affinity platform, or in the 4C platform, you will see that brand affinities are exposed in 90-day quadrants. That means we've synchronized it with Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, because our customers think of their year in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? Therefore, we'll show you that affinities for Q1 of this year may be a little different from affinities from Q2 this year. And if I went back a year, it looks very, very different. So you can actually see that pattern when you look at affinities. Yeah.
You can see historical data. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yes. Yes. The second one is that for us to be able to do this, affinities are being computed every day, 24/7, 365 days a year. So in the cloud, our own servers are taking this data, and affinity algorithms are running all the time, right? We can't switch them off. They have to run all the time to be able to track the shift in behavior. Yeah. So at one level, the affinity algorithms are running 24/7 by 365. We expose the shift in affinities in these 90-day quadrants, right? Because that's when we realize there's enough of a shift that you need to look at it. Now, this is automatically refreshed. So if you are running in Q4 of this year, you will therefore take affinities of Q4 or maybe Q3 if you wanted. But I would simply take Q4 affinities. Yeah. If I was trying to see, hey, what really happened in this brand historically, then I would throw back and look at those interests. Now, every time we have done this exercise where people have worked really closely with the brand, certain affinities start making sense to them, okay? By and large, affinities are very counterintuitive, right? Because we think categories, but people behave. So fundamentally, when you see, oh my God, why is this so different? My favorite one was the other day when we were demonstrating to a bank, a really serious business bank, and their highest affinity is a eyebrow service, right? Or a really big, and they're looking at me and saying, how? And I'm saying, isn't that fantastic? That means you have some really powerful women as your customers. That's what it means. Go and look after them, right? So in a way, affinities are but that's the way affinities work, okay? So with that background and introduction, I'm going to hand to Nish. So we're going to show this to you on screen, okay?
Yeah, just let me present my screen.
Yeah.
All right, just let me know if you guys can see my screen completely.
Yes, all good.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can do that. All right, so now to look at the affinities is very straightforward. So when we go into the campaign setups, etc., we just need to go to the ad set level and we can pick the 4C affinities from the bottom menu. And as Tarun was saying, that we can basically run this for any brand. Let me just search the brands that we have for Korea with us right now. So then let's say that if I want to look at the affinities for Apple Shop, we just go and we select that brand here and let our algorithms run. And as soon as you see that, we have a bunch of brands returned as affinities. So how to read this would be that people who are engaged with Crucian are 866 times more likely to engage with Apple Shop in Korea. So as Tarun said, what's happening here is that, we are measuring the strength of how many people are interacting with Apple Shop in this case, and how those people are also interacting with other brand pages. And when we are measuring the strength, we return this data back to you with a lip score, which is sort of a quantifier for the strength of the engagement between the two brands. So what we have seen, historically and with all the campaigns that we have run, that any page which has a lip score of more than 50 will give you good results. So to apply this to your ad sets would be very straightforward. You can just select the brand, all the pages which have lip score more than 50. In this case, there are 162 pages. And if you had an ad set, you would just select that ad set and click apply to ad sets. So that is how easy it is to generate an affinity and apply it to an ad set. Just to show you exactly how these vary with time. So as you can see, we have historical data from Q3 2017, Q2, all the way back to 2016. And if I want to see what the